The video game industry. Where did I leave off on you last? Well, I kind of left off with why you guys are so violent sometimes. That could be one of them. But today it kind of answers the question. Now, in my previous iteration of this essay, I went into detail of the future of the video game industry and what it would be its place over the next several decades, even more. However, there was a question I briefly got into that I would like to further explain in this video. Why are video games violent? Or are they too violent, to be more specific? This video aims to find out. Now, violent video games has been out for pretty much a long time, whether it be shooting games like Call of Duty, or Grand Theft Auto, or things of that nature, fighting games like UFC, or new generations video games that are deemed violent, such as Fortnite and Minecraft and things of that nature. However, it does beg the question, is it too violent? I have found 3 articles that kind of prove that it isn't, because I think that it is truly your own discretion that if there is a violent video game out there, that you take the necessary precautions and causes, as I stated in my original video. But this kind of gives some facts and feedback in my findings. To begin, we have my first article that is in a tribute to the American Psychology Association, written by Dr. Craig Anderson. He details in his results that was taken back in 2003, so wow, that mainly makes me feel old, saying that violent video games research has yielded mixed results. It only affects a small fraction of players. Interesting thing on that in 2003, and then unrealistic gameplay is completely safe for adolescent and older youth. So, right around that 16 to 25 range, give or take. But that is definitely some significant findings, especially back then in 2003, where at the peak of, the first big boom of the period, of course, the PS2 was just out there. The N64 was just getting ready to finish up its lifespan. The GameCube, like 3 to 4 games that I don't have now. But, those games right there had gaming systems had just come out, and those were the true first prime years, and when video games became a hotbed of discussion as a problem in certain cultures in certain parts of the world. Now, secondly, I want to bring you to an article written associated with Howard University, and although the author is not named, they found these findings according to students at Harvard University in 2010. Most of the researching tests that federal crime statistics had decreased since 1996, since the start of the violent video games trend, which is definitely interesting to say so in 2010, especially before school shootings started to rapidly increase across the nation, and the more advancement of different video games at that particular point in time. And also, parents can be more cautious with them as well, as one of the advices that was given to them. So, definitely there's definitely some known advice, but also definitely interesting that federal crimes had also gone down since that time frame in 1996 with the rise of violent video games in the all across the world. Finally, I want to take you to an article written in 2014 as trying to find scholarly sources, and articles was definitely a stretch, found by the Health Research Funding Organization back in 2014, saying that it has been helpful in taking focus their anger out on a game, which instead of doing it to a particular person, which is definitely a good thing to do. Also, it states that violent video games, killing and hurting people, seems like fun in these games, and definitely something they want to duplicate in the world, which is a good thing as well. And also that bullying and assault may not happen in neighborhoods, but also in schools, and playing violent video games is considered a main contributor for an increase in cases requiring bullying in school. So it kind of gives you both a perspective of things that it's pros and its cons, because it's definitely not all pros and it's definitely not all cons, and kind of give you a basis of the basis of both in terms of what it can and what it cannot do. And I definitely think that is definitely a conversation that will most likely continue over the next 25 years or so. So it begs the question again: are video games too violent? I say it's up to your description and its societal impact. Yes, it affects some and it affects others in completely different ways. And I believe that if we want to be able to continue to have these type of games, I definitely think that there needs to be more warnings and definitely some more things that you have to do to buy these type of games. Because obviously it's easier to buy video games now, especially compared to back then. Because of course you have, the you could buy games off of the gaming system online and things of that nature. But I definitely think that going forward, I definitely think there'll be some different ways that you could purchase these games where that it can be confidential and safe for the users and parents of kids that buy or want their kids to have violent video games. And this concludes this video. Thank you so much, and I will catch you next time, hopefully with a better vocal cords.